will definitely be worth it. Cassandra raised a curious eyebrow, but before she could respond, a buzz came from her hip. She glanced down at the message and then back up to Ernest. "That's Director Martinez. He says it's time." Cassandra opened the door and motioned toward the hall. Ernest took one last deep breath as their hands brushed against each other's on the threshold. Stepping into the time machine bay, Ernest suddenly felt claustrophobic. 100 faces looked back at his. A whole array of Area 51 employees had come to watch the historic occasion. Their expressions ranged from excited to petrified, a perfect amalgamation of Ernest's own feelings. Slowly but surely, a wave of applause overtook the crowd. Ernest couldn't help but feel humbled by the outpouring of admiration from the nation's top scientific minds. Director Martinez intercepted the two of them. "Everything is set and ready to go. The same parameters as the last 50 test runs," Director Martinez said. "Now, don't you go forgetting about us during all of your incredible travels." Ernest ran a hand through his hair. "Oh, don't worry, Director Martinez. I could never forget about you." The director gave a hearty chuckle and took his place at the control station. Ernest stepped into position in front of the large pod. His heart began to beat wildly against his temporal transporter device that hung against his chest. Much like his suit's itchiness, he questioned why he'd made the important time dial quite so heavy. He peered around the back wall at the numerous time machine prototypes lined up in the bay. The first few were in shambles, shattered pieces of titanium that couldn't hold up against the powerful portals they created. The more recent prototypes had been successful in transporting androids, plant life, and even mice through time. Each represented one step closer to this moment. The moment when Ernest's life's work would finally all be worth it. Director Martinez and the members of Ernest's Continuum navigation team hovered over the control panel. In synchronicity, they revved up the power feeding to the center machine. All that was left was for Ernest to step inside, set his coordinates on the interior time machine dashboard, and let the portal do the rest. The voltage swelled into the metallic dome. Electricity zapped faster and faster until the rhythm morphed into one continuous thrumming sound. Ernest looked over his shoulder one last time. Cassandra mouthed the words he had been searching for all this time. "I love you." The doors closed behind him with a resounding clang. He looked down at his temporal transporter and twisted the dial, aligning the clock on his chest to the coordinates set into the dashboard. Within an instant, the time portal swirled to life inside the machine. It was even more beautiful than he ever could have imagined. A churning spiral of vivid colors and shimmering silver dust. Ernest felt his hands ball up into fists by his side. He steadied his nerves, stepped into the spinning mass of particles, and felt his own atoms disassemble as his body was thrust into the space-time continuum. Cassandra held her breath, waiting for Ernest's safe return. All the oxygen in the room felt like it had been sucked out through the portal with him. She blinked her eyes and squeezed them hard, hoping that when she opened them, Ernest would be standing there with his gleaming smile, as brilliant as ever. The question built up in her throat like a punch. Shouldn't he be back by now? Director Martinez curled his fingers around his chin. Steam drifted and swirled in the place where the time machine had